In 1995, a retired government auditor named Ann Scheiber died alone in a small rent-controlled apartment in Manhattan. She'd worn the same faded coat for years. Neighbors thought she was barely getting by. When her estate was opened, it was worth $22 million. Every cent built from a starting investment of $5,000 and decades of doing absolutely nothing dramatic. She never had a six-figure salary. She never got a lucky tip. She never touched cryptocurrency, never flipped real estate, never had a viral idea. She just quietly understood something that almost nobody her age wanted to hear. And that's the strange part about financial freedom. It rarely looks like freedom while it's happening. It looks like restraint. It looks like patience. It looks, most of the time, like absolutely nothing at all. By the end of this video, you'll know the 10 quiet signs that predict whether someone builds real, lasting wealth. Not overnight wealth, not lottery wealth, the kind that survives recessions, layoffs, and bad years. Two of these signs are going to make you slightly uncomfortable. One of them, I promise, you've never heard anyone say out loud before. Stick with me, because the fourth one alone changes how you'll look at every dollar you earn for the rest of your life. Let's start with the one everyone gets backwards. Sign number one. You don't chase a high-income skill for the status. You chase it for the leverage. Most people think building wealth starts with a bigger paycheck. It doesn't. It starts with a skill that lets your time produce more value per hour than the person next to you. A raise gives you more of the same. A high-income skill, copywriting, coding, sales, negotiation, whatever it is, gives you a multiplier. One pays you linearly, the other compounds. If you've ever turned down a slightly bigger salary to keep learning something that scared you more, that wasn't naivety. That was your future self making the decision. Sign number two, a passive income doesn't excite you, it calms you. Here's something nobody says clearly enough. Passive income isn't about getting rich while you sleep. It's about buying yourself options. A rental property that clears $300 a month after everything is paid isn't life-changing money. But it's proof of concept. It's proof the machine works. And once someone builds one small stream that doesn't need them every single day, something shifts in how they see their own time. They stop trading every hour for every dollar. That shift, more than any amount of money, is what financial independence actually feels like from the inside. Sign number three. You understand your credit score the way a pilot understands altitude. Not obsessively, functionally. Because you know a strong credit score isn't a vanity number. It's the difference between borrowing money at 4% or borrowing it at 18%. Over a 30-year mortgage, that gap alone can cost or save you literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. Most people ignore their credit score until they need it, and by then, it's too late to fix quickly. The people who end up wealthy for life treat it like a foundation, not an afterthought. Something you protect quietly for years before you ever need to lean on it. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable, so stay with me for the next two, because most people fail exactly here without realizing it. Sign number four, you've stopped needing your investments to be exciting. There's a strange psychological trap almost every new investor falls into. Boring feels like losing. Exciting feels like winning. So people chase the stock that tripled last month, the coin someone mentioned in a group chat, the trend everyone's suddenly talking about, because slow and steady doesn't trigger any dopamine at all. But here's the uncomfortable math nobody wants to sit with. The S&P 500 has historically returned somewhere around 10% a year before inflation over long stretches of time. Not because it's thrilling, but because it's relentless. Ann Scheiber didn't get $22 million from excitement. She got it from refusing to need any. Quick pause because I want to know something. Which of these 10 signs have you already caught yourself doing without realizing it counted for anything? Drop the number in the comments. I read all of them, and it genuinely shapes which parts of this I dig into deeper next time. Sign number five. You know the real difference between an asset and a liability, and you stopped lying to yourself about which one your car is. This idea got popularized in personal finance books for a reason. It's uncomfortable and true at the same time. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out no matter how good it looks in the driveway. Most people's biggest purchases are liabilities dressed up as accomplishments. The wealthy for life type isn't against nice things. They've just stopped confusing, "I can afford this," with, "This is building my future." Those are two completely different sentences that sound identical. Sign number 6. Rejection from a bank, an investor, or a boss doesn't shrink you anymore. Everyone chasing real wealth gets told no somewhere along the way. Denied for a loan, passed over for the promotion, told their business idea would never work. The difference isn't whether the no happens. It always happens to everyone eventually. The difference is what a person does with it in the next 60 seconds. Some people let it become identity. "I guess I'm just not good with money." Others let it become intelligence. "Okay, what does this no actually tell me?" That second reaction is trainable. It's not a personality trait you're born with. It's a habit you build one rejection at a time. We're at the halfway point now, and I told you there was a turn coming. So here it is. And this is the part that reframes everything you just heard. None of the first 6 signs are actually about money. Look back at them. High income skills, passive income, credit, boring investments, assets versus liabilities, recovering from rejection. Every single one is really about how a person handles discomfort. Wealthy for life people aren't smarter than everyone else. They've just trained themselves to stay calm, doing things that feel unsafe. Investing when it's scary, staying patient when everyone else is panicking, saying no to comfort today for the sake of comfort in 20 years. The money is just the visible result of an invisible skill. And once you see that, the next 4 signs are going to land completely differently. Sign number 7. You treat retirement accounts like a bill you owe your future self, not an option you'll get to eventually. Here's a number that should genuinely bother you. Someone who starts contributing to a retirement account at 25 and stops entirely at 35 will, because of compound interest, very likely end up with more money at 65 than someone who starts at 35 and contributes every single year until retirement. 10 years of a head start can outrun 30 years of catch-up. That's not motivation speak. That's just how exponential growth behaves, quietly, patiently, and completely indifferent to how urgent it feels to you right now. Sign number 8. You've made peace with looking financially unremarkable for a while. This is the one nobody wants to admit. Almost everyone who eventually builds real wealth spends years looking. From the outside, like nothing special is happening. Same car for a decade longer than their friends, same apartment while others upgrade, same job while everyone around them is job hopping for a title bump. It doesn't look like ambition. It looks like standing still. But standing still on the outside while compound interest works on the inside is one of the most underrated financial strategies that exists, because it requires zero talent and almost unbearable patience. Sign number 9. You separate your net worth from your self-worth, especially on the bad months. Markets drop. Businesses have slow quarters. Sometimes an entire year of saving gets wiped out by one emergency nobody saw coming. The wealthy for life mindset doesn't mean never losing money. Everyone loses money eventually. It means the loss doesn't become a referendum on your character. Shame is expensive. It causes people to make panicked, emotional decisions right when they most need a clear head. Calm is the actual asset here, not the money, the calm. And sign number 10, the one almost nobody says out loud, because it doesn't sound like a financial strategy at all. You're building wealth towards something, not away from something. Sit with that for a second. There are 2 very different engines that drive people toward money. One is fear. The fear of being broke again, of being embarrassed, of never being enough. The other is vision. A genuine, specific picture of the life this money is meant to protect and create. Fear-driven wealth building tends to be frantic, impulsive, and exhausting because you're always running from something that never quite stops chasing you. Vision-driven wealth building tends to be steady because you're not escaping anything. You're simply walking somewhere on purpose. Both can technically make you rich. Only one of them lets you actually enjoy it once you get there. So take a look back at everything you just heard. Not as a scoreboard to measure yourself against at 2 in the morning, comparing your bank account to somebody else's highlight reel. As a mirror. Some of these 10 signs you already have, and you probably never gave yourself credit for them. Some of these you're missing, and now at least you know exactly which one to start building on purpose. Ann Scheiber didn't have a secret system. She didn't have insider knowledge or lucky break or a mentor whispering stock tips in her ear. She had $5,000, a government salary that was never impressive, and about 50 years of refusing to need excitement from her money. That's the entire formula. It was never complicated, it was just uncomfortable enough that almost nobody was willing to actually do it. You don't need a bigger paycheck to start becoming that kind of person. You need to start acting like them today, with whatever you're working with right now, however small it feels. Real wealth doesn't start in a bank account. It starts in the decision to be patient, unremarkable, and quietly disciplined for longer than everyone else around you is willing to be. If this inspires you, like it, share with your closed ones so they can benefit from it too, and subscribe to continue this journey with me.